There's really not much more, at least productive anyway, that can be said about the unfortunate event that occurred yesterday just outside of San Antonio, Texas. People have pretty much made up their minds, and you're not going to change anyone's mind regarding this. Desperate people, however, do desperate things in desperate times, and we're starting to accelerate toward a very dangerous time in our history. I want folks to think about for 1 minute what would have happened in a case like this if the power had been out. No radios, no phones, no ability to communicate. By now, the vast majority of the world wouldn't even know about it. See, this kind of evil would be multiplied 100-fold, 1,000-fold. One of the strange things that you look at with all of these perpetrators that do this is that you would think they would be reduced in their lives prior to either level 1 or level 2 of Maslow's hierarchy of existence. This is a fundamental basic tenet of psychology. People are pretty much stacked up like this pyramid. You first take care of your physiological needs, breathing, food, water, shelter, clothing, sleep. Then safety and security, health, employment, property, family, and social stability. This was a little tenuous for this particular individual, but apparently it's being reported that he did have some friendships. So he was somewhere in here. He wasn't way down here. No man was ever more than about 9 meals away from crime or suicide. See, it's very odd to me that you look at this event, and it's a horrible event, don't get me wrong, that happened in Texas, but look at how many are victims of this type of violence in Chicago every weekend. Every single weekend. Now, of course, the circumstances are different on the south side of Chicago than they are in Texas. But there's also people that make the argument that, like here in Florida, for example, we should do away with concealed carry permits. Laws don't change things. Whether you have concealed carry permits or you don't have concealed carry permits, it doesn't matter. And that's really the key. Because you can look, like I said, down through the decades since Columbine, and they happen in Denver, they happen in California, they happen in Texas, in Florida. We've got Parkland Pulse and Pensacola. They happen everywhere. And it's random. It's just part and parcel of living in a society that's devolving toward evil. And it's not all the same everywhere, you see, and that's the other key too. We have 50 disparate states, and the laws regarding all of this are different in each state. Doesn't seem to change a thing. There's no state that sticks out like a shining example saying that, we don't have any kind of a problem this way. But when the power goes out, and it will, there's going to be some very unique challenges for men, for the elderly, for families, and for women. Right now, specifically over at the Patreon channel, we're talking about the psychology of a shit hits the fan situation, no power, end of the world as we know it, loss of rule of law, as it applies to women. Now, some might not think that it's really that big of a difference. It's a huge difference. It's a huge difference when you are the target of evil, not just your stuff. You see, guys, we arm up and we gun up and we get prepared to defend our homestead, defend whatever it is that we have, our prepper supplies. But at some point, there always has to be a plan to say, I'm not dying today over a number 10 can of beans, and a plan to retreat. If there's enough of them, and they're persistent enough, they'll come take it. And it's just a matter of divining where that point is. But what about with women? You see, you can leave your stuff behind, and man, it'd be a gut punch to leave behind the radios, leave behind the Kevlar, leave behind all of the supplies and everything just to bug out, just to get the heck out. And it sounds good, really good. We're going to fight to the death. We're going to fight to the death. That's not the point of survival. Literally, survival means live to fight another day. But what about her? See, she's going to be a target herself. She could leave behind all the stuff all day long, and they're still going to pursue her for obvious reasons. If you don't believe what I'm saying, go visit certain parts of South America and pretty much all of Africa without rule of law. This is something that we're going to cover in depth, and how women are going to need to make different plans and have a completely different psychology during a shit hits the fan situation when evil starts to take over in a real way. What we just saw yesterday was just the veil being pulled back for just a second of what's really coming. It's a level of evil beyond anything that we've seen on the planet ever. At least that's been written down historically. Because it's all going to come falling apart. And when it does, it's going to be something beyond. If the powers that be think that there's difficult things to cover now on social media, wait till then. Ladies, don't become a victim. Don't become a victim for for the lack of a simple psychology lesson. Basic Psych 101. I know it seems like it's kind of boring, sociology, anthropology, understanding the human condition, understanding the human mind. But believe me, it is a powerful weapon. It is an incredibly powerful weapon, and if you have it on your side, and your enemy doesn't know you have it on your side, you will have a distinct advantage in a survival situation. Don't be a victim. You don't have to be. The military teaches soldiers, both male and female, how to not be. I found this, remembered it from way back in 2018. And honestly, I would like to maybe encourage some conversation about this. You see, this is something that occurred after Parkland. What a lot of people didn't realize at the time, back in 2018 when the Parkland event took place, is that was a hop, a skip, and a jump from Mar-a-Lago. Walking distance. Easy walking distance from Mar-a-Lago to Parkland. And I don't think that was something that wasn't noticed by the man who was in charge at the time. Some might wonder, man, if Trump had been in charge again, and this would have been the second event, how would he have reacted? It's very odd to me that the NRA is banning ballistic weapons from this guy's appearance in just a matter of a couple days. On Friday, 27 May, which will be 3 days after this event in just outside of San Antonio, Texas, the NRA will meet in Houston. And President 45 is scheduled to speak at their leadership forum where ballistic weapons will not be allowed. You can have your ballistic weapon at other events during the 3-day convention, but if you attend the forum with President 45, NRA's Executive Vice President, NRA ILA's Executive Director, and our nation's top Second Amendment supporters, per NRA's event announcement, and I'll give you the link to that, then you will be prohibited from exercising your God-given Second Amendment right to bear arms. Don't you find it odd? I find it odd. Maybe that's just me, though. I mean, it kind of goes back to here, desperate people do desperate things. I get that. But if you're going to talk the talk, walk the walk. I mean, you can, like I said, this sparks a lot of debate about what should or what should not be. But if laws don't change things, laws going either direction don't change things. Meaning we have concealed carry permits here in Florida. Changing that won't change what desperate people do or don't do. Or there's no one in Florida who can say honestly that if they want a weapon, they can't go get a weapon if they haven't committed some kind of a felony or done something to disqualify themselves. If you're a law-abiding citizen in Florida, it is about as easy as pie to get a weapon. And getting a concealed carry permit, not difficult at all. I'm a YouTuber. And it was just a matter of putting together a few little pieces of paper, submitting them, going down to a little office, signing a couple of pieces of paper, and then a few some odd weeks later in the mail, you get a notice saying, hey, come get it. You go down there and you go get it. It's piece of cake. Actually, you know what? I think they mailed it to me. I had to go back and I had to sign something else. It was really not a hard thing to do. So I don't understand why it is this huge push in Florida to get rid of this system it ain't broke, so don't fix it. I mean, we're the number one state in the entire union for the amount of ballistic weapons per capita and otherwise. So, anyway. But ladies, join us over at Patreon. You will not regret it. This week, by Friday, Lord willing, we will have part 2 up, talking about some very specific psychological tactics and techniques to employ in your daily life to keep yourself safe and to be able to identify threats before they become a problem. God bless. Like, share, subscribe. We'll see you guys next time.